Leanne will make a start. Okay. So the session is being recorded. Please make sure you've got mute on, just so we've got no sounds in the background. If you've managed to accidentally not have the mute on, Leanne can also put a participant on mute. We will be recording the session because we've got a lot of people who, for other reasons, weren't able to join today, and they're really keen to hear directly from the guests that we've got on today. There's also CC captions, which can be turned on at the bottom of the screen if you do need those, and we will be monitoring the chat function. So if you've got any questions, then please drop those in there, and I'll let Leanne and myself will just be watching out for those. So you'll know about us. So for those who haven't, we are the Health Innovation Network. We are one of 15 across the country. We were formerly the Academic Health Science Network, and we were established by the NHS in 2013. And we really focus on looking at innovation, how we support the system, but we focus on three key things around transformation of patient safety, also about improving the health of our population. How can we do things differently? But we also work with a lot of innovators and local companies, all of our trusts, etc. And how do we support that economic growth? One of the things true to my heart is about inclusion and making sure that as a result of the work that we do and our partners do, that we're not marginalising people even further. So it's really important to hear the voice of the people that we impact. And that's really the objective of today's session. It's about really empowering people who are dialing in to listen to our audience, to our participants, and really take away some top tips and things that they could think about as they're doing that. So that's what the forum's all about, but we are especially honoured to have Shelley Holroyd with us today, or Shelley Dowling Holroyd, as our host for this really inspiring session. Shelley will tell you a little bit about herself, but she's such a dedicated person, extremely resilient. She's been committed to a world of athletes for a number of years, but also moved on to doing coaching with not just athletes, but also para-athletes. So that's really important. So not just Paralympics, but also Invictus. And for her, it's about how we can overcome some of those challenges and achieve greatness, whether that is in sports or just in life, but actually how we embrace digital technology to really empower those people and making sure we've got some really important focus on that area. So as an athlete, she's certainly travelled the world, been in multiple world competitions, Commonwealth and European champions, but more in the latter stages, she's also moved into that kind of e-sports and where does digital fit. And so I'm excited to hear a little bit more about that and also to see how that's going to grow in the future. So Shelley recently moved to the Northeast where with her wife, 4 cats, who is not quite settled yet, but also Puggy Bear the dog. So it's great to see her move up to the Northeast from outside of Birmingham, originally from Manchester. So it's brilliant. The Northeast is such a welcoming place, and we're delighted that she's decided to relocate here because it's going to offer a world of opportunities more than anything. In addition to that, we are joined today by 5 amazing people who are going to share their stories. You've probably seen the social card that we've had out, but I won't be introducing them. That's going to be Shelley, but Edward, Lindsay, Hamira, Ellie and John have kindly joined us today, and I'm absolutely delighted that they're going to share their personal experiences for that. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my slides. And I'm going to pass over to the wonderful Shelley.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be online with all you guys. Obviously, I can't see everyone apart from the guests that we've got online. So, as Rachel said, I am, well, I can't really say ex-Olympian, because once you're an Olympian, you're always an Olympian. But I am an Olympic athlete who used digital technology when I was competing. And when I say used it, it meant I took the PlayStation with me everywhere, and that is what I played on, because it was very boring when you weren't allowed out. So, but that's how I used my digital technology at the time, because we didn't have mobile phones back then, because I am old, older, I should say. So, but yeah, it's really good to explore everybody else's kind of experiences with digital technology. As Rachel said, I also worked on the Paralympic programme for 14 years. And I've seen every category of athlete struggle with digital technology because they've not been allowed to use it. And when I say allowed to use it, it's because everyone's always taken it off them and done it for them, rather than letting them hold it themselves and use it themselves. So having someone do everything for you is not always a good idea, because you don't learn that way. So I do a lot of mentoring as well with some of the athletes to teach them how to do things for themselves and how to cope with different aspects of anything that hits them head on, give them a way of focusing. So using visualization or digital technology. So the person, oh, this is like Russian roulette now. The person that I would like to bring forward first, and I hope she doesn't mind me doing this. So boys, obviously you're going to come second because it is ladies first. Let's be honest. I would like to speak to Lindsay. You okay with that, Lindsay? Oh, I saw that. I had to saw that. Take yourself off mute.
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you sure? I don't mind. I can switch to someone else if you're happy, or you okay? You good to go?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Fabulous. So everyone understands who you are, what you've done, and where you live. Give us a bit of background about yourself.
So I went to Norham High School, and then I went to Tyme College, and I'd done performing arts.
Oh, wicked. When you say performing arts, what kind of performing arts have you
I'd done pantomimes.
Oh, so someone's behind you, kind of pantomime.
Yeah, them kind of pantomimes, but I also done the musicals as well.
Oh, do you sing?
So I done one panto a year and 2 musicals a year.
Wow. Oh, that's brilliant. What musicals?
I've done Grease, Oliver. God. There was quite a few, but they're the 2 main ones that I remember.
Oh, brilliant. Wow. That's pretty amazing. Is that like a hobby for you, or is it something that you want to try and get into on a professional level, or?
I love doing it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite things.
West End kind of feel we're getting here. Is that would you like to be on West End one day? Maybe.
No.
No. Why not? Why not? Aim high.
I would prefer to be in a horror movie. Yeah, wow, that's what I would prefer to do.
Well, I'll watch that. I'm a horror movie fan, so I love horror movies. Although some of them are quite funny, but I do like zombie films as well. So
yes,
yeah, 2 zombie films I suggest for you, and if anybody else on the actual chat wants to watch them as well, Zombieland and Zombieland 2.
Seen it.
Oh my god, so funny, absolutely hilarious. I just couldn't stop laughing. I've watched them over and over again. So brilliant. So on that, so you've done your like your pantos and your musicals and stuff like that. So how, in terms of work, what is it you're doing right now?
Doing the Stop People Dying Too Young. I do Be Cancer Aware, and I've done. There's a lot.
There's cancer in the community.
Give me one more. Give me one more then. There's a lot.
The Cancer Collaborative.
The Cancer Collaborative.
Oh wow, okay. So I understand that you've done. So you've helped design and deliver these things. Yeah. So you've been quite savvy with digital technology then.
Mm-hmm.
Have you always been good with digital, or is it something that you've had to learn over the years?
I've always been quite good.
So have you helped other people become better at using technology as well?
I am trying, yes.
You help your mum a lot, don't you?
I do help my mum a lot, but she still doesn't get it.
Oh, I can relate to that, trust me. And thankfully my mum's not on here, so she'll probably I'll get a slap off her for saying that. But yeah, no, I understand what you mean. I get phone calls off my mum all the time. So, oh, I've done this. I'm just like, oh god, and she's on FaceTime, so you have to keep a straight face. It's not good at all. So what kind of how old's your mum? Just out of interest.
Oh, she's just turned 60.
Okay, so she's younger than my mum. So I'm 51, so she's only 9 years older than me. So what is it she struggles with on the digital side?
Everything.
Has she got a mobile phone, or is it one of these
Yes.
block ones that look like?
She
is it a
I
tablet?
did buy her a mobile phone, but just got a work tablet as well, and I'm in charge of both of them because she hasn't got a clue even how to turn it on. So
So how would you overcome that then? Talking to your mum. So if your mum comes to you now and says, "Oh, I've done this, Lindsay, and I don't know how to get out of it," in terms of like for you, like patience wise, because I mean I do lose patience with my mum every so often because it's like, you know, because you're having to repeat yourself over and over again. Would you like do something like write it down for her, which is what I've
no,
done for my mum.
I've actually never thought of that.
Mm.
I'll just say, I'll just pass it here, I'll do it. There's no point.
So I did that as well, but then I kind of sat back and thought, she's never going to learn unless she does it for herself. So I sat there and I wrote out everything for her. I mean, she sends me text messages now saying, "Oh, I've done it myself. I didn't have to bother you." And it's like, well done, mum, well done. So things like that, digital technology with the older generation, for instance, my mum's 75. You know, she's one of these people that want to go into the bank. She doesn't like doing things online. She doesn't trust online at all. I think she would rather put all of her money under the bed, like under the mattress, than go to a bank as well. But she has to use that kind of technology now. So I set up online banking for her, which, you know, was a bit of a struggle for her because she didn't really understand how it worked. So having to explain that process as well, she kind of grasped it a little bit. But, you know, writing things down for your mum would mean that you don't have to keep taking the phone off her and telling her, you know, saying, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. So one of the things I suggest for you, which is what I did, was kind of like do a lesson. So like you do skills for people. Yeah. So if someone comes to you and asks you on the skills for people program, like, "Oh, can you teach me how to use this?" Would you just take it off and then and show them? Or is it because it's your mum?
I think it's because it's me mum, it's a bit different.
Yeah. I thought so. So
yeah,
treat your mum like skills for people and trial it. Trial it on her. Honestly, you'd be amazed. Trial it
I'll
on
give
your
it
mum.
a try.
Just give it a bash, but that'd be your way of teaching your mum how to use digital technology then.
Yeah.
And then you won't have to keep taking it off her, and she'll be able to message you and say, "Oh, I've done this," and you know that gives you a sense of pride. I mean, it did for me, to be fair. I was like, "Oh, thank God for that." Mum's finally understanding and learning what digital technology is and how she can FaceTime, although half the time the video doesn't work, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know what I've done," or "I can only see this part of her head," because she's not got the camera in the right place, even though she can see herself on the camera as well. So it's just like giving them that kind of background on how to use things properly. You would probably help your mum a hell of a lot more doing it that way.
Well, she knows how to use FaceTime. She's really good at that now. She's learned how to put all the faces on herself and everything because I've learned of that. So I can't take her seriously if she's getting angry with us on the phone because she looks like a tool. When she's trying to explain things, so
that's one way of describing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But can you imagine if your mum didn't have that and didn't have FaceTime? You know, how would she talk to you? Would she pick up? Yeah. So for me, I think digital technology has kind of opened everybody's eyes a lot more, and kind of expanded people's minds into thinking, "Oh yeah, I can do this." Or say, for instance, you've got someone that lives in Australia that you can't talk to very much because it's expensive, but you can FaceTime because it's free. You know, teaching people how to use technology often helps their mental health a lot more than people actually realise, believe it or not. I mean,
it's just funny saying that because I've got family in Australia and I FaceTime my cousins over there all the time.
See, I didn't know that about you.
I've got family in Australia.
Brilliant. So your mum can now talk to them over there because you've taught her how to use FaceTime.
Yeah.
Fabulous. So you see, that for me, you've helped your mum's mental health massively on that stage because, you know, people, when people move abroad, you do miss them. So, and your mum's probably sat thinking, "Oh, likelihood of her ever going over there." Has she ever visited Australia?
Yes, we went there for a whole month and stayed with my auntie over Christmas.
Fabulous. Brilliant. So when they come back, you tend to miss that kind of environment that you're in. But if you can keep in touch with them, you know, you kind of stay attached to that kind of environment. So using digital technology is an amazing way of helping people overcome some kind of, like, you know, the mental health side of missing someone so much, where you can actually see them just on the screen, and it just snaps them out of it straight away. It's such a brilliant way that, you know, for people to communicate, which is one of the biggest things in, like, on a community basis. Like, so like the community you're in at the moment, how many of them use digital technology? Would you say a lot?
Quite a lot, yes.
Are you having to teach them all of this as well, or are they quite savvy with technology?
Some of them are actually quite good at technology. But it's just every now and then someone's not quite getting it.
So is that you having to show them then, or are you enabling the others that are quite tech savvy to go and help the others as well?
You do.
No.
Sometimes you do.
Sometimes I do. It just depends. Sometimes I prefer to get someone else who knows how to do it to explain it to them.
Yeah.
So then it gives them that chance to say, oh, I've learned someone how to do this. So
yeah, and that way, that's what I'm saying about pay it forward. So you've helped someone overcome the digital side that they've probably never really been involved in. But because you've enabled them, they can then pay it forward and enable somebody else as well. So if when they go home, for instance, and they go away from the group setting, they know how to do something. So they're not sat at home thinking, oh, I don't know how to do it, I don't know how to do it, which creates panic in someone, believe it or not. It does, you know, and they get like quite tense. So because you've enabled someone to do that, you've then, you know, you've enabled them to go and help somebody else that can do that. So like that pay it forward that I mentioned earlier is such an amazing process to use. So keep doing what you're doing. It's absolutely amazing. I love the work that you've been doing on the cancer side as well, because I lost my dad a couple of years ago through cancer, and father-in-law as well through cancer. So anything to do with that, you know, just 100% support it. And if ever you need anything off me, any help or anything, you know where I am. You just give me a shout. I'm more than happy to help you out. So one last thing I want to ask you about, because you've done so much on your community and you've supported them so well, which honestly, I'm amazed. It's brilliant. Can you give me an example of something that you've done that's just made you so proud that you just want to burst and tell everyone about it?
So I was delivering a bowel screening course to men with disabilities. And I had actually decided to get some fake poo, and I taught them all exactly how to do the actual test. So I sat down with them, I showed them how to do it, and I passed it around and asked everyone to do it. And this young lad, I keep calling him young, he's older than me, but he turned around and went, I didn't realise it was that easy to do it. And I went, yes, now all I want you to do now is go home and take the test for us. And it turned out he did have cancer. And because I was one of the people that trained him, managed to catch it early, and
So you basically pretty much saved someone's life just by teaching them something.
Yes.
Well, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And that is something that you should absolutely 100% be proud of. That is inspirational. It really is. Just by helping someone in that sense. Someone's just said, I didn't know there was fake poo. That's hilarious.
It was just from the joke shop. It's like fake dog poo, but it's still the same thing. It's still taught them that exactly how to do it.
You used your initiative. So, and you've helped them on the digital side as well to, you know, to take the test and they probably read a lot more about it because you've opened their eyes and opened that door to explain things to them. So
well, we do it an easy read as well. So with it being easy read, it's easier for people to understand instead of all the big words they use.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Yeah. So that's again technology as well, which is it's just when I say technology to people, it doesn't just mean someone's got their sound on too loud. So whoever it is, can you turn it down? Rachel, help, because I can hear myself and I don't like it. Are we good? Is that better? Yes, fabulous. Yeah, when you say digital technology, most people think laptops, mobile phones and tablets, but it goes beyond that kind of technology. Digital is very far beyond all of this. So, but yeah, absolutely, Lindsay, honestly, I'm like truly honoured to speak to you, mate, really am. So, and I have no doubt I'll probably see you up in the northeast sometime, because I'm up here now. Yay, go me. But no, I'm going to move on to the next person because I am conscious of time. But thank you, Lindsay.
I think we've got an
absolute legend.
We've got a hand up from Corinda.
Oh, go for it.
You're not. Can you explain how people like you can be real when I take you? Like, can you explain how it's possible? I'll put it in the chat as well.
I think it's plastic. It's just plastic. It's just to show the technique of how to do it. That's why real poo wasn't used.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just to show the technique of what to actually do.
I knew digital, so I'm also disabled. Like I have disability. And I knew easily and not jargon. But I knew easily as well. Like for me, for example, with easily, it's useful then you can clear the point and not just like, okay, this is the jargon, what does it mean? With easily, the pictures and anything like that. I knew the software for focusing board. I knew that, and I don't know if anyone heard about it, but that is better for easy read.
Easy read, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Donna uses that as well when she mentioned about easy read.
So you're using technology in a very good way then, because you're using that technology that helps you understand it better. Because a lot of people do use big words, don't they?
I use the headphones so I'll be able to hear. But these technologies, headphones, laptop, iPad, phone, they all have a game app for easy read. And it's really, really like clever.
That's great. Thank you so much, Corinda. That's great. We'll make sure that comment's taken back, but that's fantastic. Right, Shelley, on with your next person.
Oh, I was going to say victim then, but I shouldn't really, should I? It's what I used to use with the athletes, right? Which victim's next to get tortured in like doing training with me, because they used to call it torture. I don't know why. It's mostly, it's fun. I make things fun in athletics. So I will go to Ellie, because I know Ellie has a cochlear implant, and I know you've got your subtitles going, so I promise I'll try and speak clearer so it doesn't mess up. So give us a bit about yourself, what you do, what you're doing at work, where you live. Don't give me your whole address, don't worry about that. So where are you based right now?
So I live in Hetton. If you don't know, it's a little town in Sunderland, and I'm currently at uni, so I'm going into my third year at Newcastle University. And yeah.
What are you doing at uni?
I'm doing English literature and history.
Oh, cool. I have a question for you then. So I don't think everybody else knows, but I am partially deaf. I don't wear a hearing aid and I don't wear a cochlear implant. It's just how I've taught myself. But my cousin, we have Waardenburg syndrome, as I explained earlier. And my cousins are deaf, but they had to go to a specialist college and university because the university they wanted to go to couldn't cater for them. So one's profoundly deaf, Paul, so his speech is quite impaired, and his hearing's okay, but he's not got a cochlear implant either. And now there's my cousin Kirsty. Her speech is okay, but she does read lips quite a fair bit. So in terms of the university that at, have they had to make any adjustments for you, or are you just happy riding along, crest of a wave with your cochlear implant and everything's good?
Yeah, it's a bit of both, to be honest. 'Cause I mean, growing up, I went to a mainstream school, but I had a hearing impaired department. So sometimes I would have like an interpreter there, a sign language interpreter, or a note taker, which was quite helpful. But it was like the middle of school that I got my cochlear implants. So ever since then, college and university, it's been like pretty good with a cochlear implant. But I've noticed like my uni's really good for this because especially since COVID, a lot of the lectures got moved online. So now a lot of the lectures are like all uploaded, so I can see all the notes and everything. So I'll use like my cochlear implant and lip reading to try and obviously get what the lecturer and that's saying, but I'll have the notes at the side as well. So I find that to be really helpful. So
yeah, imagine a world without that.
I just honestly, I don't think I'd probably get by. It'd be hard.
It would be, wouldn't it? You wouldn't.
Yeah.
And this is, I think this is what we all do take advantage of, to be fair. And we tend to forget to appreciate the technology that we actually have because we just think it's a given. So like that technology that you've got is insanely brilliant. I mean, that's so good. My cousins unfortunately didn't get to have that kind of experience, which is a shame for them. It should be all around the UK, around the world, in fact. I'll give you an example, right? So I'm not too sure whether a lot of people are aware of this, but it's just some research that I did a few weeks ago. So in Durham, for instance, there's over 1,800 children that are deaf. And there's no provision for them in schools.
That's mad.
So can you imagine that kind of, if they want to go to university, are they going to then struggle because they've not had that kind of digital technology that helps them in school? They've got no signer, there's nothing. So, you know, there are ways and means of correcting this that we can do in schools. So this is why I wanted to ask you the question of how the universities helped you in that sense and how you've come through. So I used to do some work with the Deaf UK team as well, the GB team. So I coached a few of those. To be fair though, Ella, they only ever taught me the swear words on sign. So even if you wanted me to do some sign, I could only swear. So which is not appropriate. So it's probably not a good thing for it. If anybody wants to know what they are afterwards, you know, they can email me and I can certainly show them. But yeah, because I always wear sunglasses on top of my head. If anybody wanted to ask where I was, they'd say, where's Shelley? So I did just do this because of the sunglasses. So I was like, oh, okay. But I did teach myself a bit of sign, and I did teach myself the alphabet, because I was so intrigued with how they were talking. And I think one of the biggest things was when one of the GB team won a medal, they actually played the national anthem, but with the deaf athletics team, they have to take all of their technology off. So you're not allowed to have your cochlear implant on.
I didn't know that. Like,
so your digital technology, and this is why I wanted to talk to you second. When it comes to sport, to make it a level playing field, everybody has to remove their digital technology. Why?
I know. I was gonna ask, like, why is that the case? Because that's
exactly. It is a little bit silly, which is why I think with the new gladiators that's come on, and you've got it's Joe. Is it Jodie? I think it's Jodie, who also played rugby. But she leaves her cochlear implant on for gladiators. So there's obviously a clear indication that your cochlear implant is quite safe where it is. So so when you have digital technology removed from you, so put yourself in their situation, but in the situation of being in the university, what kind of impact do you think that would have had on you, not having that kind of technology behind you? Would you be where you are now?
Definitely not. I don't think I would be at all. But as well, I think it's probably important to mention that when you rely on lip reading, and that you get so tired from doing it as well, which is why digital technology helps so much. So I don't think it would be possible to like go a day without being absolutely burnt out if you didn't have it.
No. So that for me is like, because I always revert back to mental health. Because I think mental health for me is like the most important thing. That the slightest thing can impact that mental health. And when we're talking about digital technology, it's something that we need to really push forward and say, like, this could actually save somebody's life. or stop someone from, you know, from being suicidal because, you know, they're unable to communicate.
Yeah.
You know, and it does make a massive, like, it has a massive impact on people's lives. So because I've asked you a question of, you know, if you didn't have that digital technology, the impact it would have, you've basically just said you would have nothing.
Yeah, I wouldn't, to be honest. I mean, even now, I can get by on the phone all right, but my preferred way of communication is text message, social media. That's how I talk to all my friends and family, and
Exactly. So we're back at the digital side again.
Yeah.
So it just shows you how much we do rely on digital technology. But then when you flip it and you look at areas that don't have this kind of technology, so you know, I don't want to say digital poverty is massive in this country, and if we could kind of stop the digital poverty side, which there are ways and means of doing, which we've got some fantastic people working on at the moment, and we push forward on that, everyone can have that amazing experience that you've also had with university. So you literally could be the champion of, which I'm going to message you about as well, by the way. So I've just dragged you into some of my work, so which I hope you don't mind.
No,
But I think you would be such an amazing ambassador for pushing this kind of technology out there, to say like, you know, these are the experiences, this is what you've enabled to do because you've had that technology, and show them that the technology that we're using right now, your cochlear implant, is making people's lives accessible, which is another big thing that I, you know, I love working on, making sure everything's accessible for everyone. So you could literally be that kind of champion because it's played a massive part of your life.
Yeah, it really has.
Yeah. So give me an indication, something that you've done that makes you like so proud of you. Give me an example.
I think I was trying to think of this the other day, but I think one of the things that springs to mind is I think with like social media, I shared my story before and like other people started replying with theirs, and sometimes I like to decorate my cochlear implants up because they just give you like a basic like beige colour. Obviously that's to match my hair, but sometimes I like making them like pink or blue or something. And I actually had this woman message me and said because my daughter saw a picture of you doing that, she went to school with a hair up and showed off her cochlear implants. And I thought that just made my heart absolutely warm. And
yeah, exactly. Which is why I think that's why I said you would be such an amazing ambassador to get this message out there that digital technology shouldn't be frowned upon. You know, we should be championing people that have got this kind of technology. It's when I went to a school to do some work with some of the younger kids. I think it was year 5, I think it was. I don't know. I'm old, so I don't really know the new years at the moment. But they were fairly young, and there was a young deaf girl. And as I was talking to her, I was saying about that I'm partially deaf, and she put her hand up straight away. And I was like, right, okay, because I had the necklace around so she could hear me properly. And I said, have you got a question? And she said, can I come to the front? I was like, okay, yeah, of course. She came to the front, and I could see the teacher in the background, her jaw was on the floor. Apparently this kid's like so shy, and she came and she literally told every single class member off for bullying her. And because she was stood at the side of me, and she came afterwards and she went, because you said you were partially deaf, I felt safe in saying that the class has bullied me for past year, and that she's had to leave the school to go to an actual specific deaf school. So, you know, so what you've done, and she had a cochlear implant as well. So if she'd have seen something that you'd done with your cochlear implant, she probably would have gone in the next day doing exactly the same. So, you know, it's making your technology the norm, and not being embarrassed about it. There's nothing to be embarrassed about it. You know, it's look at what you've done. It's amazing. You know, you've championed it. You've helped other people recognize that, yeah, you've got this technology, but it's fab. You know, you dress it up. I'd have sparklers out of it and everything. If it was me. Probably set my hair on fire, mind, but you know, not something I would recommend. But that's amazing. Amazing what you've done. So, but I will be in touch. So do not go far.
I won't. I look forward to it.
Ellie, I put the link in the chat. It's called the World of Hearing. and there's an event that's going on in September the 13th, next Friday, before 5 till 6 p.m. That is really good, like for you, for hearing. It's on the fence line.
Great, Corinda, thank you so much. We'll also share that afterwards along with the recording. So if anybody else wants to sign up, we'll make sure it's available. So thank you for sharing.
Right, Ellie, thank you ever so much.
Thank
Absolute
you.
star. So who shall I pick on next? I'm going to go for John. All right, John. Take yourself off mute. Oh, yeah, you do. I know you know how to do it. There you go. Lovely.
Yeah.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, yeah.
Good. So I'm gonna tell people that you're a Navy vet because I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Thanks. There's a few of us from the northeast area that joined the Navy and obviously the armed forces as well as the Army and the Air Force. So where I'm at Veterans in Crisis Sunderland, there's quite a lot of us meet up here once, twice a week. For a chat and a good old moan about life, really, and what paths we've taken after we've left the services. Yeah.
So to give you a little bit of background, so I was part of the Invictus Games, so I know all the banter with the Army and Navy and the Air Force and everything else, and if you don't give as good as you get, you basically get buried by them. So but yeah, they taught me a few things, which was quite cool. So just for you, John, in particular, in terms of, because you've been in the Navy, obviously you're retired now and you're at home doing your crisis, vets in crisis. How has digital technology helped you engage with other people?
Well, through Veterans in Crisis, we've been allocated tablets and also SIM cards for mobile phone access. So it's been, like I say, I've been really a novice with technology. I was one of these where I came from in the Navy, you wrote letters to family and sent postcards. And then as the years went on, the mobile phone came in, and so now it's an everyday part of life, isn't it? If I get stuck, I just ask the young nieces who's 5 and 6 or 7, and they put me right. They have actually put us right on out of work things, but it's the contact you can have anywhere around the world. I've got friends and they're still living out in Australia and the Far East. So it's just as if the next door, isn't it? It's in the next room, really. And a lot of veterans never used it until we came to VIX. There was a lot of us just isolated. And like I say, being able to have the WhatsApp groups and knowing that you can meet once or twice a week, that's the benefit of having this digital technology. And also, let's face it, you'd be very hard to find anybody without a mobile phone now. And everybody has a phone.
True.
So if you're not texting or you're sending your social media, I only went on social media through COVID, or I just couldn't be bothered with Facebook. It wasn't really for me, but because of COVID, it's sort of, I could understand why now people are never off the phone. When you see them, they're addicted to the phones and texting and, are in the world of their own, some people, but it's, it's a good thing. It's a positive thing, but at times as well, you think, I sometimes revert back to, I think, well, how did we manage without all this digital technology? And it was people got out and went to youth clubs. A lot of the young'uns now don't go to youth clubs or have social events where you mentioned sport. I was a king. I loved me football when I was younger. And it just doesn't seem to be groups anymore. But that's just the way things has moved on. But like I say, technology knows it's there for everybody.
Yeah.
Whether you're fit and able or you've got disabilities and whatever, you know, it's been a good thing. And it's Veterans in Crisis has been set up the way it operates. It's been ideal for that. Everybody can have communication with everybody. So yeah.
I think that's where it's I think COVID kind of, even though it was a bad thing, I think it also helped people understand just how important speaking is and talking to people. And even face to face, even if it's not face to face, it's just on the end of a video, you're still able to see that person, so you can still relate to them. So I think COVID in it was kind of in some ways a bit of a blessing, because it opened other people's eyes, people that wouldn't use technology as such, like yourself. You said, you know, you probably wouldn't have used it.
Yeah.
If COVID hadn't come around, you probably wouldn't have a mobile phone still, or you wouldn't be digital. But now that you are, you know, even though something bad happened, it's enabled you to then actually come out of your little bubble and just expand your world across the world to speak to people that you'd probably not spoken to for a long time, or seen, in fact.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I'm one of thousands from the services across the world that obviously uses this. I think we're all the same in some respect, aren't we? We're all have either been isolated at one time or felt isolated, and now you're there. Your phone can ring 24 hours a day, or sometimes, you know, you've always got contact, as long as you've got the internet itself, because that alone is an expense. And then there's everything else that you know, comes on top of it. If you, like I say, with Vix, I've managed to get a tablet with free internet, and I've managed to get a phone with so many minutes. So that's helped us put money basically to other use, you know, which is like everybody's gone on the gas, electricity, water, bills, food. So, but no, it's a good thing. It can only get more better as the years go on.
Well, that's just it. I mean, I know some vets that I know through the Invictus still don't really like going outside because of the noises. For instance. So, you know, when I worked on one of the Invictus games, and the starter's pistol in athletics, you know, most of them would just drop to the floor straight away. So, you know, they changed it so that they adapted and went to digital. Weirdly enough, rather than using the ammunition through the gun, they changed it to a digital gun, which helped them. So that's what I mean. Digital technology doesn't just stop at like laptops, phones, and tablets. You know, there's a lot of technology out there that we can use that helps everybody else. I mean, look at the community that you're in. Look how much of the support it's got just through having the tablets, and the difference it's made in people's lives. So one of the things that I found with the vets was the mental health side. Everybody struggled with it. So, you know, I started helping and mentoring to, you know, and I got a few of them gaming, believe it or not. I didn't think I would, but a lot of them do game now, and they game online. So they do esports online now. So, and it's give them a different purpose, a different sense that they can, you know, they can do something enjoyable without having to go outside. So,
and a lot of the veterans, see, when you see a veterans, there's a lot of people, if it is a mental health thing, it can be caused by anything. It can be caused by combat. It can be caused by being away from home, leaving your family, and things happening at family you've got no control over. A lot of what I found when I was younger was, because I just thought I'd just get on with it. But looking back over the years, the things that I wasn't being shot at or stuff like that really bothered us, even though at the time it was serious. I was only 20, and I just thought, well, get on with it. It was like to working in orphanages, helping out young kids, you know, and the casualties of war you always see. It's the horrible side you see, which sticks with you. And to me, that was when you do we were doing disaster relief in the Caribbean after the hurricanes have hit, and you're going out rebuilding schools, and we were making rope cricket balls so we play cricket on the beach to get, and things like that come back to you later on in life. And you know, you see how other people live in other countries, and you know, it's hand to mouth, and it's all them are the things that stick with you. You know, and obviously everybody has a different story to tell. You know, I've lost a lot of friends through drink and drugs, and a lot of it was just through the times of, I'm just saying, at the Navy itself, that's without the other parts of the forces. I mean, my time, I went to London to nautical school, and then I went to HMS Raleigh to do training, and then I was assigned to, like, it's called the Royal Fleet Auxiliary. So they're the supply, and they do everything with the Navy and the Army. And you get to work with both sides. Well, you get to work with everybody, the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. So there was like the lot of us in one, and they've all got different ways of running things and doing things. But at the end of the day, everybody would sit in the bar and have a pint or have a chat, and you can talk about anything and what you want. I think you find a lot of us, we haven't got any scruples now. I'm 54, and you know, no surprises us now.
Oh,
You
I
know,
can imagine. I
it's
certainly
just the
can
way the
imagine.
world has come and changed. And
It is.
looking back, when I was, like I say, when I was 19, 20, the things that you would think, oh, that's serious, you know, to me it wasn't. It was the things that you wouldn't think it. Like I say, having to rebuild an orphanage or rebuild schools and give food and disaster relief out to people. That's the thing that sticks with me. And I wonder now, I think, well, I wonder if them kids survived that war in Kosovo or, you know, in Iraq and around the Gulf, and what's the world, how's it moving on? We're still the same thing. There's still war around the world, and you're still going to have the same problems in a younger generation who's 16, 18, 19. The other ones that's in 20, 30 years' time is going to be sitting having the same meeting as we are, talking about their problems, you know, and what they have experienced. So, but no, without going on too much, without getting onto the, like I say, the digital side's been brilliant just for access. And also, while you're on about Olympian, my cousin's, he won gold at Beijing and silver in London for the rowing coxless pairs.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so it was good to see him come up with his gold medal when he came to Sunderland. With his gold and silver medal with my grandfather, who was, he's my cousin, his grandfather was, and my grandfather were brothers. So, you know, it's the little Olympic connection there.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, listening to your story and what you've done, and you know, all the things that you've been through. You know, the fact that you're now using digital technology to help other people is amazing. So you should be really proud of what you're doing. I think it's just crazy.
It's
amazing.
It's through the Veterans in Crisis and other forces ones set up. There are other people use as well, and working with yourselves, and because let's face it, you don't, you know, you've sort of got to fight for the stuff. You don't go giving it, and there's other branches set up that I wouldn't know of that help the likes of Veterans in Crisis, you know, and stuff, and see, can I help you with this and help you with that? So I always look at it as a team effort. Everybody's involved and everybody does the bit, and fortunately, it's you know, it's been very good that way.
Yeah, well, amazing, John. On that note, your story is just crazy. It's brilliant. I love it. I love listening to vets. Like I say, I've worked with them for quite a few years now, and I just think they're all outstanding. I'm going to move on.
Yeah, I'm have to log off soon. Is that okay?
No problem, John.
I've got another 20 minutes, I think, before I'm just in the office in case it closes.
Okay. No worries.
Cheers, thanks.
Cheers, John. Is it Humera? Have we got next?
Oh, yes, my pleasure.
Did I pronounce your name okay? Did I say that right? Please tell me yes.
Yeah, my name is Humaira Khan. First of all, I'm really obliged and really happy that to be included in this platform. And you gave me this great opportunity to see these lovely souls and amazing peoples. And I'm feeling again a new horizon. I'm feeling that I'm part of it. So thank you very much. So my introduction is that from where I should start. Raised and born in Pakistan, did my master's in English literature, did my Italian diploma because I migrated to Italy with my husband 2005. And then after 15 years, I got nationality and we decided to move to UK basically because of our culture and religion and much good opportunities for my family. After coming here, I think it's 7th year we have moved. So here I continued my studies. I got some educational degrees and then I started diploma from Greenwich University, London. That's Diploma in Public Service Interpreting, Police and Court, DPSI. And I am a teacher at LZ Community Center. I work with Pakistan Muslim Association and I am an interpreter. And I'm an event organizer and I am the founder of my WhatsApp group of Women Empowerment Northeast, which is consisted of more than 300 ladies now. I started it before the COVID and then COVID helped us great to come together on that group. So that is basically I love to empower our ladies from ethnic, social, cultural minorities, ladies to those who want to sell something and they don't have any platform. So small businesses, I support them. So all these works are volunteer. So basically I'm only teacher, but I love to do these more jobs. So I am event organizer. I have organized events at St. James St. Basil Church for this table sales for ladies I make sure that there are NHS health bus services over there. So basically, I'm also a community health champion award holder from Lord Mayor of Newcastle City Council 2022. And just before this meeting, I was in their annual autumn meeting with them. And there today, I've discussed more issues with them for the next year, more projects to bring to the community. So I work as a bridge between the council and the community because I am an outsider into this community. I live in Elzik, West End area of Newcastle, and I have seen very closer Fenham, all these areas. So I basically thought that these things are missing in our community center. Nobody is doing here. So they said, okay, you try. So I said, why not? So I try and Allah blesses me with success, basically because I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for others. So this sense of accomplishment, this achievement, it gives you so much satisfaction and fuel for your next projects. Yeah. So sorry if I forget so many things which I did. So I did Eid Melas at the mosque. In that I mixed up with health works because if you call ladies only for the health topics, no one comes and listens. So I know how to get So table sales with jewelry, food, everything. And then I provided them with the funding, free food vouchers. Okay, now you can go buy food. And meanwhile, there were lots of health stalls to discuss and things about. Then I've done Summer Fair 2023, Summer Fair 2024 at St. James St. Basil Church with NHS Health Birth Works. And they checked free health checks, cholesterol, everything, BMI. Then sorry, let me read. I have written notes, things which I do. Yeah, I'm member of Overseas Pakistani Commission as well since 2 years. And when Nadra for identity cards and Pakistani passports, they come to our community center. So I just give as a volunteer help to our ladies who are non-native and doesn't speak English properly. So even then they speak English, they are so happy when they see a female over there because all staff is consisted of males. So I just assist ladies and my mission is to make our women and girls more happier. So then I've been part of IMCAN research program recently in that I have hosted SAM Symposium, that was South Asian Minorities Health Symposium. It was a really great honor for me in July, and all those researchers and doctors who were part of that panel. So thanks God, I've done it well. So after that, I have been a part of a program of digital skills program with Newcastle City Council. And when I came to know about this program, first I went to the Whitley Bay Library to attend that program. And when I saw it there, I requested them that why don't you bring it to my community, because this is the area which people more want these things. So they said, why not? And then we have organized, I have coordinated 3-4 sessions in which we have supplied them basic digital skills program with free tablet, iPads, SIMs, and 6 months data. So ladies were
Wow.
so happy. They were out of the moon by getting those free things, because there were some eligibility criteria for that. After the form fillings, only those who are deserving and who wants to learn more. After that, we have conducted some more digital skill lessons, basic digital skill lesson for our ladies. But I think it's such a huge and vast subject. It will never gonna end, because we are in need of so many things for them. Just one point I today raised in the meeting, that, if you go to the GP appointment, it's so hard. Everything is online now. And then you have to do everything online, and everything is in English. So it's not in Urdu, and our parents, our elders, they are asking help from their children. They don't know even how to book their appointment, how to ask for repeat prescription. So these things are hindrances in the community which need. So there are so many things which need our more attention. Then, sorry if I forget. So my hobby is travel. We go to Europe every year by road. So I explore new cities, new things. So this time recently, I just came back on last Wednesday. So France, then Italy, Switzerland, Interlaken, and then Belgium. Last time we went to Luxembourg as well. So that's my 2 weeks program with my family after 1 year. So this is the holiday which I most enjoy, and we look forward for the next year.
Wow, you're very busy.
Just like now, I've just done on my phone, do not disturb for this meeting. So because I just get instant call on demand interpreter. So they ask me, are you available? So I start interpreting as well while walking or sitting anywhere. So I also work with, I forgot, I work with RVI as well. So for 1 hour, 2 hours, so I go there to assist people with their language problems.
So basically what we're going to say now is, without this kind of digital technology that you're using, none of this would be possible.
No, I am 0 out of 0 without my phone. Now my post is my phone, my camera, my calendar, my appointments, my connection, counsel, everything is digitalized on my phone. And still I'm learning new things from my children who are going to school and uni, and they teach me new things. And still I have so many things in my, just still a burden on me. Oh no, I have to learn this, I have to learn this. And now I'm thinking to go back on my tablet, because it's sometimes hard to carry your tablet with you every time, but now I have to, because sometimes you need it, your laptop or tablet. But I love my phone because it's just a very nice pocket format to carry everything, and we are nothing. And I think telephone, these things are same like hybrid cars right now. After a few years, everyone have to move to the hybrid cars, no petrol, no diesel. So this phone is like that thing. After a few years, everyone, just now, everyone, each and every one of us, even the children, the elders, they are using technology in one another way. If they're not using it for any information, they are watching TikTok videos. In our culture, they use TikTok videos for in their language just to pass their time. So it is a mandatory part of our modern life.
That's amazing. I mean, this is the reason why we do things like this. It's to showcase like how like digital awareness is so vital for everybody. So the ladies that you're actually helping, you've probably boosted their confidence like 100%, because then they feel a lot more confident now in using technology, and that's because of you. So, I was going to ask, what's one of the things that, that makes you so proud of everything that you do, but you've just said it. You just said absolutely everything there. I'm like, how do you even sleep? Do you actually sleep at all? Or are you just like 24/7? You're so busy.
It's all because of support of my family, my husband, my children. So they are supporting me. They are giving me some extra time. If I'm not at home, they are looking over those things. So without support, a lady cannot be successful for doing so many things at a time. So I just take one project at a time. And now with the passage of time, my health wasn't good last year. Since few years, So last year I had my total hysterectomy in October. I took, and I said, thanks God, I have some time to rest. So November, December, January, I was in the bed and I enjoyed it most. Otherwise, it was so hard for me, dragging in the events. Events are coming, my health is bad. So now I'm feeling much more healthier than before, and new projects. And then, the demand from the ladies, they ask things from me. If I'm not doing anything for 1 or 2 months, everyone's asking, is everything okay? When's the next project? Some ladies told me, why don't you do something for the ladies' bicycles? We want to train, we want to do bicycles. I said, oh, not a bad idea. I'll think about it. Then there's every Thursday, there is a program, or mosque for elderly ladies. So we used to go there, and we invite so many people from the council for Alzheimer's, diabetes, swimming lessons, everything which we can do for them. Because for those ladies, it's a joy to come to their meeting and meet and greet with other 10, 15, 20 ladies and eat something together. So for those, they don't want to miss that as well. So sometimes I can't do that. Sometimes other people are there to do that. And yes, everything just runs through together.
You're their inspiration, basically.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, you are. You're very much their inspiration. You are very inspirational. It's amazing the amount of work that you're doing. But on the digital side, you're teaching other people how to use this.
We should spread the positivity. We should. I never share negative news, negative social media. I always be positive. I give them good news. Okay, this is new project. Do something for the girls, for ladies. So there's already so much negativity in our community. So we should be very humble to each other. We should feel empathic. Sorry, I don't say that word properly. Empathy towards each other. And we all are different, but all are equal. I love this phrase. And if I'm not gonna solve anyone else's problem, so there is no need of my life. If I have this life, I should be fruitful to someone else. That is the purpose of the mankind.
Yeah, that's why I use the term "pay it forward." So if I teach somebody how to do something, I'd say to them, you need to pay it forward, and then you teach somebody how to use it, and it just creates, like you say, it creates positivity throughout the whole community.
And then I came here, and I started all these things slowly, and then when I got ill, so when I saw the response from the community, so many ladies come to my house, they are giving me flowers. I went for Umrah, I came back. 2 weeks, people are coming, and I was surprised. I said, this is the blessing which I got. I don't belong here. I have no family over here, but this community, it is my inspiration, and this love gives me more fuel. So I bring things to them, and my motto is to be indifferent and not favoritism. You should be positive and equal for each and everything. So in my circle, I have Bengali, Pakistani, Afghani, Kurdish, all ladies, African, because I'm also a teacher and I have a connection with all those parents. So the mosque is the basic, you can say, my strength. It gave me strength to make connections over there. Then my job, then the council work, it gave me resources from there. And like this, everything just one at a time, things come and then it goes on.
Wow. It's people like you that should have MBEs and CBEs and OBEs. You're a very inspirational person. So I feel very honored talking to you. You really do.
Thank you.
You're amazing. So I'm going to leave you on that because I'm going to switch to Edward, because I'm not going to say. I do want to speak to Edward. So, but honestly, you're amazing. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this honor.
Oh, it was our honor. Oh, trust me, it really was. You're amazing. So, and you need to be at the rooftop shouting everything. Everything that you're doing is just unreal. It's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. So, yes, wow. I feel like I need to. I'm sat down, but I feel like I need to sit down again. So after all the work that you've done, I feel tired. I actually feel worn out.
I just forgot to tell something. I also supported Yvonne Ridley in her campaign, recent elections. I worked with her, and we are in the cleaning process, cleaning West Road area. I worked with Epic cleaning areas. So every positive thing you will see me there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I need to meet you in person one day. We will meet. Trust me.
Yeah.
So
Most
I'm going to
welcome.
switch. Oh, thank you. So I'm going to switch to Edward. Where's Edward?
Hi,
gone?
Shelley. Am I on?
Ah, you are on, Edward. Your video's not on. We need to show you how.
Okay.
Show everyone how young you are.
Yeah.
There he is. There he is. So, right, Edward. So, after listening to everybody that you've listened to so far, what's your perspective of digital technology? What do you gain from it more than anything?
Loads. But I have to say, I'm as tired as you, by the way, Shelley, listening to everybody else there and inspired, just as you've said. So I get loads from digital technology. Strangely, it was a reason I left work, but it's a reason that I've been able to enjoy post-work life. I left work
Fabulous.
in my 50s because of sight loss, and partly at the time I couldn't use the technology I needed to in the job I had then, and yet with the developments of the accessibility features in everyday technology, I can now help other people and myself. I'm a terrible acquirer of information. I love hoovering up information, and I just can't do it without the accessibility features of a phone or a large screen tablet, or the desktop screen I've got now, and its ability to do text to speech, to read things aloud if I can't see them, and the magnification. So nothing rocket science. Magnifiers have been around since Galileo and his grandfather, etc., but they've just moved on so much so that for digital technology I can go to a cricket match and watch some of the cricket, because there's wearable kit that you can buy now. That's very expensive. I haven't got one yet. I'm thinking of a wearable headset, like an esports, VR headset, but specially adapted for visually impaired people, so that you could get obviously a narrow view, but a better view if you've got some remaining vision. Now, that's just leisure, but it also means I can watch the cricket on television and actually see where the ball is and stuff like by wearing a headset like that. And then just day to day, I just feel included, because one of the things I found as my sight declined while I was at work, I felt very excluded going to a meeting, not able to see who was arguing with me over £1 million contract or something like that. It was a bit awkward. You weren't sure which one to hit, you came back with your arguments, etc. And now that isn't the case. You can get so much help without having to buy, there are £3,000 or £4,000 pieces of kit you can get, but also a standard mobile phone will do so much of it, as we've been hearing. And that just fills me with a sense of belonging in the community. I can find out what's going on. I can get there. Google Maps will tell me when to turn, so I don't go past the street, because I live in little old Cockermouth in West Cumbria, on the wrong side of the Pennines, etc. Far from all you guys. It's a long way to everywhere, and we're happy here. So my wife and I were settled, don't have to move. But when I do go and visit somebody else with sight loss, I just love it that I can get to their house without having to take ages wandering about trying to read street signs that are in the wrong place for me or something like that. So it makes a huge difference, and I feel included, and I can contribute to society, but also learn things I want to learn and participate in activities and get around. I wouldn't leave Cockermouth very much without the assistance of my phone. Frankly, I was thinking about it earlier on. I'd have to wait for my wife to be available. She's got other things to do. So it makes a great difference. And just if I could anticipate a question, what I find is the folk I deal with, through the Macular Society or Blind Veterans UK, who've got sight loss, it might be different from mine, but the ones who are doing better are often the ones who've taken that big step of trying to use technology to assist them in their lives. And there's a lovely lady on the very edge of Cumbria I'm talking to at the moment over the phone. That's why, because it take hours to get there. There's no bus or anything where she lives. 92, still uses a tablet, got her iPad, and I've been able to tell her what apps to put on. And one day we're going to get on our tandem, have a bike ride, not all the way to where she lives, but halfway there probably. And my wife will wait patiently while I just run through things on her iPad.
Brilliant.
before we get a bit more exercise, and really make sure she's getting the most out of it. So there's just lots
that's
of
amazing.
potential with the technology.
Yeah.
And it's lovely. There's free apps. You know, that's what Microsoft have produced a great app, Seeing AI. Just to mention one, and Google have, you know, a range, the usual range of apps as well. So it isn't, you don't have to just buy the latest iPhone or whatever. Thank you. Sorry, rattled on.
No, not at all. I mean, you basically answered the questions I was going to ask you anyway, which is fab. No, don't be sorry. You've I think you've kind of grasped how I actually get people to talk to me. You've just done it for me anyway, which is brilliant. So thank you for that, Edward. But no, like you say, the technology, when you think about it these days, modern day technology, like TVs as well, digital TVs always come with audio description. So if you know, if your site isn't as good as it used to be, you still can have the audio description on the TV. And even with when you use Fire TVs and Amazon TVs and stuff like that, you can speak into the remote, and it can bring up whatever program you want to watch. So that kind of technology is insane when you think about it. And back in the day, before, you know, when we only had 4 buttons on the TV, and I do remember that, believe it or not, but it's a little bit crazy.
You're only young.
You didn't have that. Well, I'd like to think my mind's young, my body's not. So, but that's athletics for you. It's now ruined. Whoever said sport was good for you, definitely, needs a good talking to. That's what. It's good for you, but it wrecks your body. So, but so when you think technology back then, you know, whoever, you know, those that were partially sighted or didn't have any sight, you know, listening to a TV is very different from, you know, from audio description of explaining what people are doing. It's like, say for instance, Edward's walking through the door, he's greeting somebody, you know, and then you can hear the conversation starting. So I've worked with partially sighted and blind athletes in the past. So one of them was which everyone thought was quite dangerous, but she was a javelin thrower, blind javelin thrower. It's just like, you know, you wouldn't think. But what it taught me is when I was videoing, because I use technology quite a fair bit, I also had to be very descriptive. So it taught me a whole new skill. And just with working with someone that was blind, you know, and also instead of me demonstrating what to do, I had to physically put her in that position and show her and put her in the movement on how to throw a javelin. So like I say, it gave me even more skills just by like coaching, which I thought, you know, I was amazed with. I just absolutely loved it, which is why I wanted to work on the Paralympic side, because it would get, I'm like a sponge. So you say you're a Hoover, I'm a sponge. I just love as much information as I can get. So and it's understanding that kind of technology that enables them to, you know, to feel like they are being included. So I'd play the video back, but it would actually have audio description of her position and everything else. So she then used a technique that I used when I was throwing called visualization. So she could visualize herself on the video, even though she couldn't see the video. So it gave her another way of thinking of how to position herself, even though she'd never seen herself throw a javelin. It's honestly, technology is so crazy these days. There is so much we can do, and there's so much we can utilize that will enable everybody else to have the same access as those that are not disabled. So, and we're often disabled by society as well, when you think about it. So just because you're visually impaired, it doesn't mean to say, you know, that you're stupid. Or if you're deaf, I mean, I've had this before when you know, if you're deaf, people tend to talk very loud or very slowly. And it's like, what are you doing? You know, and I see my cousins go through this as well. So it's you know, I've learned so many skills by just through talking to people like yourself and you know, Lindsay, Hamira, which I'm hoping I said that right again, and Ellie, you know, John, for instance, with the vets. You know, you guys are so inspirational to me that, you know, and I love learning off you guys. So your story to me of helping a 92-year-old lady, I mean, oh my God, I'm so proud of you for doing something like that and taking the time out of your day, even though you also have a visual impairment. Most people, you know, even people that had sight probably wouldn't even do that. but you've put yourself out there. You've learned how to use digital technology, like like your screen readers and everything else. It's, you know, you're young as well. I know you're in your 70s. I'm not going to give you age because I won't do that to you. But you know, you're young to use technology. You probably use technology more than my mum does. So you should talk to my mum.
Happy to do so. Happy to do so.
She's so lazy at times, and she just gets up. She wants me to do it half the time. But you know, I am trying to teach her what to do. But can you imagine? Well, exactly. But imagine the impact it would have on you without all this technology.
Oh, dreadful.
How do you think your life would be? Just for everyone that's listening, you know, because they might have a relative that's visually impaired, or, you know, how would you say your life would be, and how it'd be impacted if you didn't have this kind of technology right now?
I would feel extremely cut off, and that was my experience when I left work. It was 2006, and the kit was just coming in, but I didn't know anything about it. And you know, locally there wasn't much help here, so I would say I would just be socially isolated. I'd heard that term social exclusion, you know, by the 21st century. It was being bandied about, but I didn't really know what it meant until I experienced it, and it was just grim. I got a bit depressed. I was fortunate, you know, good support networks, as they say, and so I didn't need to, you know, have therapy or anything. Probably would have been better if I'd done some counselling, but I was too proud. But I got by, and then I gradually discovered the technology by, you know, more by luck than judgment. A little bit of help from Blind Society and the Macular Society, but then, you know, found out where to track it down, and then just felt I could get involved again instead of just wondering what to do with the rest of my life, you know. So huge difference. I just felt I shrank, you know, as a person, and I would, that's it. I think that sums it up really. Just shrunk away, left out of things, etc. Which I previously, you know, I had to give up what cricket I did play. I was in the fourth 11, you know, I wasn't breaking any windows beyond the boundary or anything, but just, you know, I had to give up so much, driving, all that sort of thing, as you do, and then suddenly to have the ability to just get, you know, at least use transport more readily, etc. with all the technology. Got me out.
It's almost like you lose your independence, don't you?
Yes, thanks. Yeah, that's it. Loss of control is what it comes down to. And some of that, there's, you know, if it's just pride, then I wouldn't promote that as a wonderful thing. But some of it's just getting things done and contributing, isn't it? Being able to contribute to whatever you're doing. Yeah.
Well, you're an inspiration, Edward. You really are, and you know, you're an inspiration to other people. And if anyone in the group does have someone that's visually impaired or even blind, for instance, you know, you've probably helped those guys as well understand how their family members would actually be feeling right now. So I'm going to go back to Rachel now, but thank you, Edward. You're an absolute legend. I've got friends in Cockermouth, by the way, so the Lishmans. I don't know whether you know them.
Who's that?
Lishman?
I wondered. I remember the Lishmans. We used to live about 100 yards away. We moved a few years ago, but I wondered if there was a connection in the old shop. But well done. Great.
I knew them. So, but thank you, Edward. You're an absolute star. I'm going to pass back to Rachel because I think she's got something brewing. No worries. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody. I will reattempt to share my screen, so you do have to bear with me just for a. Oh, you've got a blank screen at the moment. So we do have 5 minutes available if there are any questions. If you want to pop your hand up, I'll have to ask Leanne to oversee that element of it because I can't see anything now that I'm sharing my screen. But if there's any questions, we'll be more than delighted with our panel members as well as Shelley as our host to answer any of those questions. So Leanne.
I would just like to say that I'm feeling quite emotional. All the great work that you all are doing in your communities is just amazing. And I'd just really like to thank you for coming on here, as well as Shelley hosting a great forum. There's been some brilliant links put in the chat, which I'll capture all of those after the session. I've got goose pimples, I really have. I'll share all of those. We'll share the recording, and please sign up to our next forum, which is in November. We love hosting these.
And like Shelley has repeatedly said throughout this session, pay it forward. I myself help my parents, which aren't very old, 63 and 64, but you're right in what everybody says. You can't just keep taking the technology off them and doing it for them, because that's not teaching them anything. If we can teach one person and they can teach one person, eventually we'll all know what we're doing and we can share best practice, share hints, tips and everything. But just thank you so much. Everybody's been amazing, and I've just got a lovely warm feeling inside.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Leanne. So is there any other people has any questions, Leanne? I know you can see all the chat function.
I think questions have been answered over this session.
Okay.
There is a couple of questions in here. So we've got Leela. She's actually, I think it's aimed at Corinda. Curious to know what the visualization system is called. Corinda's popped that in as a link, which is brilliant.
Brilliant.
If there's any questions that haven't been answered, please just send them over to me via email and I will get those answered. I don't believe, unless anyone wants to put the hand up and ask, I don't believe there's any unanswered questions. I think we've done amazing.
Oh, fantastic. I see Corinda has a question.
Yeah.
Corinda?
All I know is there's a membership for here.
Become a
Could you
member.
repeat that?
Yeah,
Yes, so Leanne.
I can answer that, Rachel. Yeah, Corinda, so it's not a membership as such. So the forum that we actually run, we get we hire speakers. So it has run very differently today to what it usually does. It's not usually as chatty, so we wouldn't have 5 speakers. We would generally just have 2 who would do a presentation. But by all means, if you you've actually signed up today to take part and watch this session, we actually have a session about 5 to 6 times a year, which enables you to become a member of the forum, if that makes sense. So it's quite fluid. It's not really formal. So of course, and I'll email you some details over after the session, Corinda.
By the way, I put my wrong email on the website.
Okay.
I put it, when I email you, it's a right email.
Okay.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah, well, put in the chat what the right email. So I can put the wrong email on your website.
All
Okay.
right. We'll sort
I'll
that
make
out.
sure. Yeah, I'll make sure I get that changed. We've got a question from Emma there. She has a hand up.
Emma.
Hi everybody, great session today, really enjoyed tuning in. So not so much a question, but a point for reflection, particularly for the health innovation members who are on here. And I think we've got some commissioning staff as well and some NHS colleagues. So it's just, how do we take all of these points, these amazing points that we've got from this session, and how do we get that into the system? How do we have that partnership going through to bring these innovations and what everybody has highlighted of this helps me, and everyone's went, yeah, that's absolutely great. How do we bring that out and how do we put that into our daily work and into consideration when we're out there developing with new innovators who have all these lovely ideas? So things like how to help people when they're in their education, and that lovely example of just using Google Maps. It's such a simple technology that everybody takes for granted, but makes a huge difference to some people. It's just a point of reflection, basically, of we need to have this in mind when we're developing and when we're talking about bringing new technology out there. Thanks, guys.
Brilliant. Thank you, Emma.
Can I answer Emma on that one? So one of the biggest things when people are developing all these apps and everything else, they tend not to use people that have got lived experience, which is why they miss out on a lot of things. So one of the biggest things is utilizing like guys like Edward, John, Lindsay, Hamira, Ellie, and getting the information from them of what works best, rather than just assuming what people want. Ask the people that are struggling, which is why these forums are amazing. So you've heard a lot of information of what things, simple things, like you say, Google Maps, which is what Edward uses, the screen readers, which are so easy to use. I mean, a lot of Apple products have them, But it's, you know, people keep inventing all these things, but they're not asking the people that actually need them how to actually, you know, what would it be? How can we make it easier?
Yes.
Instead of utilizing so much technology, using jargon and everything else, make it simple, keep it simple, and people can use it better and far more than what they do.
Absolutely. Co-production.
Yeah. So we're going to come to the end of the questions there. So sorry, Corinda, I know you've put your hand up, but we've only got 3 minutes left, so we can chat online afterwards about that.
I was gonna say, talking about easily, there is a software which I'm going to put in the chat for Jenny, HG1, and here it is. It's all healthysymbol.com, and that is for like Donna or Jenny or Leanne want to become a like professional. I'm also on there.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So just before we close the session down, I'd just like to thank everybody for the questions. If you've got anything offline, then please do reach out to Leanne and she can ask onwards those questions. I do just want to mention, and we've heard a really good couple of case study examples around, you know, Amira touched on how they've been able to distribute iPads. John touched on the project they've done at the Veterans Society and how technology obviously can really empower people. But one of the biggest barriers sometimes is that, you know, in the North East in particular, we've got the highest rates of inequalities, but also of the deprivation. And sometimes we take for granted we might have a device, but not everybody does have the access to that, or to a SIM card. So we are embarking on, or we have been for over a year now, on pulling together a repurposing programme for the North East organisations and trusts, as well as the local authorities. So looking at, well, the taxpayer, we pay millions of pounds every year for all of these devices, and then we only have them for so long, and then what happens to them afterwards? So how do we gift those to the patients so that we actually, and citizens, so we're really supporting people to embrace that technology era, but breaking down some of those barriers around the cost to those devices. So if you're interested in finding out a bit more about that, we will be running a session, but we're working with the trusts at the moment to really encourage them to come on board. So I did just want to mention that. But what I'd like to say today is an absolutely massive thank you to Shelley, who's hosted a brilliant session. She's put our guests at ease, drawn out some of those really great topics around how has it made a difference for them, what have they done that to make them proud. And we couldn't have done today's session without having Shelley, who's so passionate about this area and has her own lived experiences and supported other people in that lived experience to really be supported. And we couldn't have done it today also without our top guests. So we've got Lindsay on the call who shared, you know, we've got a link to the organisations she works for. Edward shared his journey being partial sighted and how it's really empowered him, and onwards, paying back, as Shelley would refer to, the people that he supported. We've heard from John, a veteran, Navy, Army, really made a difference. Absolutely, technology supports and helps them connect wider across the whole of the system. We've also heard from Ellie, who absolutely amazing, you know, the barriers she's probably faced, but actually how she couldn't live in a world without technology and the difference that it makes to her. And fantastically, and finally from Hamira, who absolutely has wowed us with all the good that she does in her own community and wider to really make a difference to people's lives. The other thanks I'd like to is to Emma Wolf and our comms team. So Emma should be on the call, and because she's done an amazing job in helping us promote this fantastic event, to open it up wider so more people can hear and take away some of that shared learning. And as Emma said, how do we do something different? How do we make sure we build those things in? But also to Leanne, because Leanne in the background has made all the magic happen, has spoken to all of our guests offline, so that's been really important. So I just wanted to say a personal thank you to such a humbling session today, where we really hear those lived experiences, and it really does help us to make a difference, which is fantastic.
Lindsay, did you just have a question there? You're just on mute.
Sorry, Donna pushed the wrong button. She was supposed to react.
Oh, we do it all the time. Don't worry. And Andy, you had your hand up. Have you got a comment or a question?
Just a well done to everyone. I thought it was amazing.
Brilliant.
You know, absolutely. You know, I work closely with Shelley, so I know how passionate she is about this, and I work closely with Rachel and Leanne and company. So yeah, just well done, everyone.
Well, thank you, Andy. That means a lot. So, as I said again, thank you for attending today's session. Leanne has popped in there. We will be sharing the recording. We'll also pull out those really useful links that people have shared in the chat function so that people have got access to them. And I've also included in the link to the next forum, which is on the Monday, the 11th of November. So we look forward to those who can join us on that session. So I'll stop sharing my slides, and we have run over by 2 minutes, so I do apologise for sharing that terribly.
At least it wasn't me running over.
Yeah, it was me for a change. So, but thank you, everybody. That's been absolutely fantastic. We hope you've got lots out of it. So have a good week, and thanks again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Before, Yana, I sent a message in the chat.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
send Leanne a message, Corinda, and then she'll get you set up